Welcome back, Wagoneers, to another exciting episode of the Wasted Wagons podcast. We have the original five back. Welcome back, Mike. Oh, well, Mike was here last time.
I was here last time. I came a little late, but
Mike's face has officially been removed from the milk carton, so we no longer have to put that in his chair.
You mean from the Lil Wayne?
Until next episode.
His face has been removed from the Lil Wayne.
The Lil Wayne's still in my car, just in case.
But last episode, we
wait, real quick. Was that the Little Wayne with the little dildo in front of us?
No comment.
Okay,
I believe it was. Last episode, we reached back into our Food Wars episode where we debated that the heavily argumentative topic of what is better between pizza rolls and bagel bites. Last episode, we brought in some pizza rolls. This episode, we brought in some bagel bites where I was going to pass
they're almost gone too.
Just,
by the way,
they're just that good that they are
so
almost
good
gone.
and not a mouth burn.
They're gone.
Before the episode,
If you look on the bottom, they look like a
Amazon.
balloon knot. Just saying.
So while we're
I should
discussing
like that, Patrick.
while we're discussing
Look at that.
today's topics, we're going to be eating bagel bites. We have finger sandwiches and pretzels too. Also, at some point on the show, I brought in some Jif and some Peter Pan peanut butter.
It's pronounced
And
Biff.
as we're talking, I'm going to put some on plates, and we're all going to taste test both peanut butters, so that way we can really get this idea of which one is actually
Can we
better.
just stick
I
our
feel like
finger
we
in the
should
jar
do
and pass it
Peter
around?
Pan.
I'm just going to say we should do a blind taste test and honestly say which one you think is better.
True. So you don't know which one you're tasting. Yeah.
That would be the idea. Way to do it, yeah.
Okay. We'll have to see if we get a
I guess I didn't know
blindfold.
that was understood, Patrick.
We'll have to get a blindfold in here at some point.
I've got one in my car. In my
you put
bag.
my balls on your face.
Oh, some Arabian sunglasses?
With that being said,
I have a
title of the episode: Arabian Sunglasses. Write it down.
Arabian sunglasses.
Arabian
That was an old LSU drumline joke. They were like, I'm going to wear Mike the Tiger's balls like Arabian sunglasses.
Well, one topic that we'd meant to talk about last episode was the fight that is about to happen, I believe, in June between Mike Tyson and Jake Paul. And I just wanted to kind of go around the table here and get y'all's opinions on that fight, what you think about it, who might win, who might not win, and whether or not the fight's actually real.
I don't have much to say about the topic. I mean, we've already kind of discussed my feelings on the Paul brothers, back in episode 2. I really think it's nothing but a money grab. I think Jake Paul is going to win, probably, because I think it's going to be fixed in his favor to win. That's all I'm going to say.
I mean, he's a tad younger than Mike Tyson.
I think it's a great unifying moment for the world because everyone wants to see Mike Tyson knock the shit out of Jake Paul.
So I agree with you. It's obviously a publicity. It's obviously a publicity stunt.
Totally.
People trying to get money out the deal and everything else. I've seen Mike Tyson and he looks phenomenal. Just those little short snippets of him sparring and shit like that.
Yeah.
Jake Paul's a big tool. I mean, whatever. Everybody hates the motherfucker. Everybody's going, for Mike Tyson. Obviously, at least our age group.
It's just one
I
great.
think most
It's just
people
one
in there-
great.
I haven't heard anyone saying they're pulling for Jake Paul.
Yeah.
One of the greatest boxers ever. It's just passing the torch to
Right.
the next.
That's
greatest
basically
boxer
what I think we're
Greatest
doing.
ever.
I don't think passing the torch because he's not. I don't know.
This is not a
ever. I'm just
Yeah.
joking. I think it's all for publicity.
Yeah, but no, I really hope that Mike Tyson freaking knocks the motherfucker out in 30 seconds.
I mean, my question with
Spoiler,
this
it
is,
ain't happening.
It's not happening.
obviously this is a big payday for both of them.
Yeah.
Is this payday worth it to Mike Tyson though, for the fact that he's going to get
That's what the bride
a loss on his record? Fighting this guy.
Wild.
He's
For publicity.
I think his record is well established, and he's. I don't think anything can hurt his record at this time.
Mike Tyson?
Yeah. He's got $6
$20 million
losses.
is what he wants.
He's got 6 losses. I mean, 50 wins.
Yeah, sorry.
Yeah, Mike Tyson's Mike
But I
Tyson.
think we talked about. I mean, obviously nobody would want to turn down $20 million, but Mike doesn't necessarily need the money.
No.
I don't know. Wasn't there a time though where he was like buying like a new car every day or something like that?
I think he went broke for a
the
while.
money. Yeah.
I think he did go broke. As a matter of fact, when he did the Hangover
Mike
movie, I
Tyson
think he
hasn't been like notably responsible as far as with money, with like saving his money.
Yeah.
Doesn't look like a very financially sound.
But Jake and Logan Paul are a bunch of tool bags.
Which is which? Which is the one in wrestling? It's Logan Paul.
Logan. Yeah.
See, I didn't even know there was two of them. I was like, I saw the wrestling thing, and I was like, oh, that's that stupid boxing idiot. And then I was like, no. And I looked it up. I was like, Logan Paul. It was like, oh, he's got a brother too. I'm like, great.
I think Logan is a lot less tatted up than Jake.
I guess.
So I think I could tolerate Logan.
So I do have a question though, because there was some rumors that Jake Paul had these special rules for this particular fight, and then I heard that there weren't going to be these rules. Like Jake Paul was going to be allowed to wear a headgear, and like there was going to be like tag teaming involved, or Logan would
Tag team his brother in.
But I don't know if that was just rumors or if this is true. I didn't really look into it. But have y'all heard anything about that?
I have not. Yeah,
I saw it floated around, but yeah, it was just rumors and stuff they were making up for it. Personally, you remember the fight between Conor McGregor and who did he fight? Mayweather. So you remember how that kind of got drug out and went a bunch of rounds, and then ultimately got to who won the fight? Mayweather. I feel like this is going to be the same kind of deal. They're going to, obviously for the money, they don't want Tyson to knock him out or someone to get knocked out in the first round or two. So they're probably going to let it kind of play out for a few rounds so people get their money's worth. But then ultimately, whatever happens, whoever wins the fight or who they want to win.
Act like you've been there before, Mike.
We have to.
You lied. You said there was no mouth burning.
We have to address the bagel-sized elephant in the room.
It's because Mike's been doing this on purpose. Pizza rolls.
No, it's fucking shit.
You can see it.
But pizza rolls. But you just said no one got their mouth burned
I was sitting there playing with a pizza roll last week and making it talk and shit. And I put it in my mouth after holding it for 5 or 6 minutes, and it still burned my mouth. That
fucking thing's still gonna burn his mouth.
I can see it.
So
you can see the steam.
So the same thing that happened to your pizza roll was gonna happen to his bagel bite.
Pizza roll is like a silent killer.
That's a not so silent killer. You can see the motherfucker is smoking.
It's smoking.
It's like a silent but deadly fork.
Top 5 Drew Carey movies.
I mean, I was playing with the pizza roll, trying to okay, it's got to be cool by now. I put it in my mouth. First bite.
I'm just saying that same problem you're gonna have. That thing is.
You can see it. They just came out of the oven. I defended the pizza roll last week out of the air fryer because I don't reverse my stance completely, but I quasi-reverse it. So I'm gonna say I crawfished out of it. I don't know what I'm saying. All I'm saying is the air fryer was not invented when I made my decision on pizza rolls. Okay, and the air fryer pizza roll is superior.
The only thing better than a crawfish dinner is 5 crawfish dinners.
What is that?
Water boy.
The water boy.
Speaking of water,
I don't remember that.
Water boy.
forgot about that.
Oh my god!
All right, so sorry, Mike burning his mouth. The rare occasion that Mike burns his mouth on a bagel bite interrupted Patrick from what he had.
Sorry, Patrick. I apologize.
I'm sorry. It had to be addressed.
That's good. I've got something special planned for everybody who wants to interrupt anybody on the pod going forward. You'll get dinged on the on the broadcast. Yeah. Well, also on video because I'm just gonna put up a counter when someone interrupts someone. Like, oh, who got counted this time?
It's like the bitch counter or shit counter in South Park.
Yeah, it's shit counter.
200 times.
They're gonna say shit on television.
But I mean, back to the fight though. Kind of like the Mayweather-McGregor fight. I think they're going to let it kind of draw out of however many rounds, and eventually whoever they want to win the fight will win it. Me personally, I would love if this fight ended in 20 punches. I want the bell. I want the bell to ring.
All 20 landed by Mike.
Paul can have a few shots, and he'll get a couple jabs in to kind of keep Mike at bay. and I want Mike to just lay him down with a nasty uppercut or a right hook or something.
Is he tall? Is he about the same height as Mike Tyson?
He's probably a little taller.
He's probably taller.
Because usually Mike Tyson's advantage was on those big guys where he would get low and do that uppercut,
right?
And just he's a craftsman when it came to that.
Now, granted, if you saw the videos of Mike Tyson mid last year, he was walking with a cane. So I don't know. He had some assistance. So I don't know how mobile he really is. But from just the videos of him sparring and punching, he looks like he can still move, and he looks like he has still a lot of power.
So this is what I'm thinking, right? I think this as a whole.
Should I put on my tinfoil hat first, or
is going to ruin the legitimacy of boxing in general?
I don't think so.
If it goes the wrong way, right? It could go the good way, and this could be a nice, clean fight and a legitimate fight. And Mike Tyson wins, and then that's it. Everybody goes home, right?
Well,
or it could be a show and then make it last unnecessary amount of rounds and be staged, like I think it's going to be.
I think it's going to be staged.
And then we're going to talk about how this ruined the legitimacy of professional.
I think we're going to have to go back and listen to episode 2, or the one that we filmed at Todd's house. I think Mike is changing his opinion on the Paul brothers.
Not at all. Not at all.
So
I'll look. No.
Let's go back and listen to tape.
No.
all right? So getting back to the Jake Paul thing, Todd, you had some interesting thoughts and opinions on him or the fight or this whole matter. What's grinding your gears about Jake Paul?
Fuck Jake Paul.
Okay, look. First off, let me explain to you how I found out about Jake Paul. I never even heard of the dude. I do private practice. One of my clients, who was at that time was probably maybe 10, 11 years old, was obsessed with the guy. He watched his YouTube videos. He was like, "Oh man, he's the greatest thing ever. He's so funny. How have you never heard of him?" All this kind of shit. So I never paid any mind to it. I certainly wasn't going to go watch his videos after what one of my clients said. But then all of a sudden he started getting all this hype as far as being a fighter. So I was like, okay, let me go check out who this Jake Paul guy is. But all I kind of discovered is that he's doing this shit is kind of like a money grab. He's making all this money because people want to see him lose, right? They're like, oh, it's this arrogant little prick who we're gonna go pay money to get him to watch him get knocked out.
He's the villain.
He's the villain.
Like the villain.
And normally I like villains.
Persona.
And look, I'm not going to take anything away from Jake Paul as far as becoming a fighter and training to be a fighter. Because I watched his documentary. My son was the one who originally wanted to watch it. I had absolutely no plans to watch this documentary because I'm not a Jake Paul fan. But my son, who loves YouTube, obviously loves Jake Paul. So I'm sitting there watching it with him, and my son is literally trying to convince me, look, Dad, see, he does this. He's not a bad guy. He does this. He's not a bad guy. You like him a little bit, right, Dad? And it's it's hard for me to like the guy because I'm sitting there watching all the shit that this dude did in the past, and it's clear that he was an arrogant, fucking, phony-ass prick, So I'm not going to sit there and deny the fact that Jake Paul has done a lot as far as getting himself in really good shape, preparing to be a really good boxer. And I have no doubt in my mind this dude's got a shit ton of power and he's knocking these fucking guys out. I watched that fight. He knocked Tyron Woodley the fuck out. I don't know if you saw that.
I did.
It was hard ass shot. This dude was down for the count. I just don't like the fact that this guy is. I found him to be very, very arrogant. I think he's very, very arrogant, very conceited. I think he's all about himself.
I think it's a persona. I think it's all about money.
Okay. Oh, I have no doubt in my mind.
He wants
no doubt in my mind. It's all about money.
So the agenda there is that he wants to be the villain because he makes more money when people hate him. He in the documentary. He was the liked guy, right? He did the Disney thing, and he was very well liked with YouTube. And then he got demonetized because he started being the bad guy.
But I think he even got a little bit into the depression because he was the bad guy. No, if I'm not mistaken from the documentary. So it's
how smart is he though to take that all that negativity and make it into a positive?
Oh, he's smart, but that kind of
super smart guy.
That kind of makes me like him even less.
And I think that's just a persona right now. But hey. I could be wrong.
Look, for a person in the mental health profession who doesn't make as much money as that, obviously, But I kind of agree with Todd here. Like I look at the people he's fighting, and I look at the Ben Askren. Like if you look at the MMA career of Ben Askren, he's more known as a grappler, but he's fighting Ben Askren in a boxing match.
I mean, I don't know if y'all have seen that fight, but Ben Askren looked like he came into that fight with like absolutely no training. The dude looked like soft as shit. Like,
so that's where the money grab component comes in for me. Like, okay, well, you're fighting a grappler in a boxing match. Like, okay, you want to prove yourself as a boxer, fight Mike Tyson. Fight Mike Tyson as a boxer. I mean,
Mayweather.
he fought Fury.
Fight Floyd Mayweather as a boxer.
He fought Tyson Fury.
Fight Oscar De La Hoya as a boxer.
I really don't think that this is anything about him wanting to be the best boxer ever.
Right, it's a money grab, which makes him more of a piece of shit, in my opinion.
He's he did fight.
If you don't want to fight real boxers in a boxing match, then you're a piece of shit.
But he did fight a real boxer. He fought Tyson Fury's younger brother. Yeah.
Well, fight Tyson Fury. Then.
He actually lost.
Oh, so you lost to Tyson Fury's younger brother. Fight Tyson Fury if you're a real boxer. Stop grabbing people's money.
I get it.
To me, that tells me you're a piece of shit.
Does anyone have Riddick Bowe's number?
No.
Jesus, Riddick.
Fuck, fight Shannon Briggs. I don't know.
That's a name from the past.
Do y'all remember
Lennox Lewis?
How about Shannon? How about old Shannon Briggs?
How about Francois Botha?
Yeah. How about the guy that Tyson knocked out in 49 seconds? Peter
Neely.
Neely, yeah.
So
McNeely.
how did this guy get so much money from this boxing match that? I mean, this is like Floyd Mayweather money.
But it's easy to see. He was this YouTube personality who was obviously a dick. People wanted to see him lose. They paid the money to hopefully watch him lose. He doesn't lose. He wins. So then they pay money for the next fight to hopefully see
How
him
is this
lose.
any different than like that Zuckerberg and
it's
Elon Musk
That's
fight that they're
I thought you were defending them when Todd was saying that they're con artists who steal money.
No, not at all. I agree.
Like, how's that coffee?
That's great news.
It's great.
What are you drinking out of there?
That high quality H2O.
Well,
We're pounding it tonight. Energy drinks and water.
Pounding it, baby.
Charles got a Celsius.
Well, it seems like we're all kind of in the same boat here on wanting to see Mike Tyson win, but we just don't necessarily see that happening. A lot of us feel like it might be a money grab. But staying on the sports world, right now we're in the middle of March Madness. Actually, have 4 days of it complete at this point. Has anybody been watching March Madness, and is there anything that y'all see that y'all like about it or dislike about it?
I'm watching a little bit of it. I haven't seen it. I saw the SEC's been getting killed, which has kind of sucked.
Yeah, quick Mississippi State for Todd. Fucking lost.
Hey, Mississippi State baseball did take down LSU baseball last week. They lost to Texas A&M this week.
Speaking of taking down LSU baseball, shout out to the Gators for winning 2 out of 3 from the Tigers today.
They won the third. They won the third.
They won yesterday and today. Today was bad. It was 12-2
Shout
today.
out to that stud Jack.
Yesterday was good.
Just absolutely took care of business today.
He did. But as far as the tournament, I have not watched a ton of the men. Although the Marquette game today went down to the wire, and that was a great game.
I watched that game.
The games I don't think have been that great, but I've been following the women more. LSU they got a win, but they had a rough first game, and Kim went after her players about how sloppy they played.
Yeah, they beat the piss out of Memphis today, huh?
Middle Tennessee.
Well, TSU, excuse me.
At halftime, they were down 4. And you could tell she lit a fire under them because they came out in the third quarter and they completely turned it around.
Yeah, it was on at walk-ons early. It was like 30 points.
I'm worried about their potential matchup with UCLA because UCLA is not going to be nearly as sloppy. Yeah. And they typically turn the ball over way too much. The other games I remember of note, Duke upset Ohio State today as well. The rest of the game, South Carolina dominated, and they look like they're every bit of the favorite to win it. Iowa handled their business as well. But I honestly, I haven't really followed much of the men because I'm kind of thinking it's going to be UConn and maybe North Carolina at some point. But it hasn't interested me as much. I don't think Purdue's going to last much
Then
longer.
again, did a bracket Wednesday night and just picked random people almost. I didn't put much thought into it.
Your favorite
I
cities to go to, Sean?
No, I honestly gave up on college basketball, at least filling up brackets. I'd be lying if I really watched like more than like 5 minutes of a game this year. But I used to fill out the brackets just for the hell of it because I thought it was fun. But man, but a second round when your bracket is just covered in red ink, it just takes the fun out of it.
Yeah, and I think that's where I'm with Todd here. I didn't fill out one again. I don't think I filled one out in like 3 years, and I don't necessarily miss it because of that reason. And the one thing that I can basically say off of March Madness is based upon the way some of the games have gone this year, I'd probably much the same. And I think the most notable one would be Oakland's defeat of Kentucky.
Yeah.
And but it has spread Jack Golke. They put him up on the scene, and who doesn't like to see a guy with a receding hairline with widow's peak be the star of the tournament so far.
Yeah, and I think the appeal of March Madness for a lot of people is probably waned a little bit, and it's not as prevalent or big of a deal to a lot of people as it used to be. And maybe because of the quality of basketball has gone down. There also aren't any real stars in the college game. Like, it's like the women, you can name probably at least two of the best players on the women's side because they've been around for 3-4 years, and they stay longer, so you at least know more people. With the men's side, it feels like you're always waiting for like a Cinderella. Yeah. You're waiting for a Cinderella person or team to show up and make a run, and Jack Golke announced himself for however long he's going to be around until they get knocked out. But on the men's side, like, there's not a big name player to draw you in, I think. And as far as teams, the traditional powerhouse teams are not that. Well, North Carolina's highly ranked and rated. UConn has established himself as a powerhouse the last 5 years, maybe plus years or whatnot. But the Kentucky losing, they've lost in the first or second round the last 3 years, 2 of the last 3 years. So Duke is not where they were when they were dominant years in the years past. So I think a lot of the men's side is just the play isn't as good, and people just don't really want to follow as much because there's no one really to follow unless you're waiting for a Cinderella kind of story to happen.
And I think personally that the NBA is taking of college players, like a good high school player is going to maybe play 1 year of college and then just go pro.
I don't know.
So it's like, right, that's what I'm saying. Like, or just go straight from high school if they're good enough. So it's like college level basketball, I think, has suffered because of that, because they can't build teams for at least 2 or 3 years. Right. Like, people would leave their junior year and stuff, but they if they're a good freshman, it's like, just go to the NBA. It's like the women are sticking around longer and playing. I mean, I don't know. I feel like the women's level of basketball has improved since when I was younger. I feel.
I agree, and kind of to put a bit of a bow on, because we obviously don't have a whole lot to say about the tournament. They were talking to Cal at Kentucky, and he mentioned something about his players being one and done and them leaving, and how it makes it harder for his teams to develop and be national championship contenders. And no one's going to cry for Cal and throw a pity party because he's such a high-profile name and coach with a pedigree. But he was making a reference to like how he needs to work on getting players to be there more than 1 year so you can keep a core and develop to turn into a championship team. Where you go back to the women, Caitlin Clark has been there for 3-4 years. She's a household name, Right. Juju Watkins from USC is going to be there for years. LSU has had Angel Reese for a couple seasons now. They have a freshman, Michaela Williams, who's going to be there for 3, probably 4 years. So the women's game brings in more players like Sabrina Ionescu, who who've been around for a while, and they translate their play and fame to the next level, and you might follow a little bit more.
I was surprised to see that all the women like Caitlin Clark and Angel Reese and all them for all the hoopla last year, that they were all coming back for another season.
Right, and that's the thing.
I was surprised too.
Well, also, it helps too. They make so much money in NIL in college. Like they were saying, I think Caitlin Clark is making like $3 million this year in just NIL from college, and her WNBA salary is a couple $100,000 maybe.
Peanuts
tops.
But it could also be the fact that the WNBA is an absolute.
That's true too.
I mean, like I don't feel like I feel like nobody watches it. I don't know anybody.
How many people do you know that own WNBA gear?
Right, and like good example for
Zero.
I don't know any WNBA stars really.
Yeah.
But
And
that's what's going on.
yes,
You
Mike.
got something to say?
I don't watch that shit.
So like just
No, I don't watch that shit.
I mean, I know some of the names from WNBA, but they're
Talk
like
about
long
more than
retired,
big
like
stars.
Candace Parker. Or,
but like I watch. I mean, and I'm invested in the women's games. One because I've got to go to a lot of LSU games the last couple years, thanks to some friends and getting tickets and whatnot.
Yeah.
So I guess I care more. But at the same time, that does not translate over to WNBA viewership for me. I don't watch a lot of WNBA games. I don't watch a lot of regular NBA games unless there's like a gambling interest for me, or if there's maybe a player or a good matchup, or outside the Pelicans. Like, obviously, I watch the Pelicans games as much as I can, but outside of that, I won't watch many teams or games unless it's a star player that I want to watch or I'm gambling on it.
Or do you see boobies?
Speaking of boobies, before we move on from the talk of women's basketball here,
Oh no!
somebody shared a meme in our group text, and it said, Caitlin Clark looks like she has a bush. Do you guys agree?
Keeps it hairy.
Keeps it hairy, not the exact
Surprised that
words.
came up.
Do you guys agree or disagree?
do we agree or disagree?
Pretty odd question to the pot.
Wow, I mean, I would assume it is. I don't know.
What a topic! What a topic!
Do you think it wraps around to her beehole as well?
Are you trying to say that she get the taint waxed?
This is
Okay.
This
I'm just like, what the hell is
this
that?
says redaction written all over.
So you know what, Travis? You kind of put us around this in this situation.
What does that have to do with boobies anyway?
I'm going to ask this question,
I
and
thought it segued.
Movies are located in a different area.
let me ask you this. And when I ask the question, tell me immediately if we should just move off the topic, or if you want to stick with it, and I'll need a simple yes or no answer from you if I ask the question. If you want to continue with it,
What a segue.
Let's go.
are you ready? All right.
Let's see what.
What is your preference on hair or no hair on the lady?
That's just
No hair.
Easy. That's an easy.
Hair where?
Well, we don't have to move that.
There.
No hair.
Down there.
We don't have to move on. I personally like the landing strip.
No hair.
Shaved on the sides.
Bald.
Little
Like a fucking eagle.
or
Back that.
Redacted.
Let's just say a little hair is okay, just not excessive. Okay.
If
like,
it's
trim-
manicured.
You know, I want to be able to see the windows over the hedges. Okay.
That's fair.
Yeah, I prefer a shave, but I mean a little hair is good too. If it's too much, it's just
If I get a
you don't
hair
need
on my
you
tongue,
don't need any kind
it's
of
a
like
bad
dental
night.
floss.
If it gets caught in your teeth.
If there's hair touch my tongue, it's a bad night.
so basically, Mike would have a bad night with Caitlin Clark.
Allegedly.
Caitlin Clark, if you're listening.
Tag
All right. You ready? I'm gonna ask y'all a question.
You can answer the question.
Caitlin Clark or Caitlyn Jenner?
Caitlyn Jenner now or 84?
Caitlin Jenner's turning back into a dude.
That was a trick question.
So that
Something like that.
that question we can move on from. So while we're staying on the topic of sports here, what do you guys think about the
Jenner now,
Ohtani
84.
the Ohtani gambling investigation?
That was so wrong in so many ways. That guy really fucked him big time. The interpreter.
I didn't hear the full story. Fill me in on the full
So
story. I know there was something gambling
His
related.
interpreter got busted for sports gambling with his funds.
So the interpreter suckered in Ohtani, telling him, "Hey, I have all this gambling debt, and I don't know what to do, and I'm gonna go to jail. Somebody's gonna come get me. Blah 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 blah." So Ohtani felt bad for him and said, "Hey, look, I've been knowing you for many years. We're friends. Here's $3 million to help you on your gambling debts." And what the guy did was he ended up taking the money. But he had no gambling debt. It was just him trying to sucker Ohtani into giving him $3 million.
So
At least that's what I heard. I mean,
I thought he really bet on.
I thought
he really did gamble.
He did bet on
yeah.
stuff? Okay.
Because
there's no way a gambling addict's gonna get $3 million and be like, I'm just gonna pay my debts.
Well,
the reason like all the legal part is in because he went to a bookie because it's online gambling is illegal in California. So he was going to meet an illegal bookie. So that's why it's like a federal thing now like that.
Okay.
And I think the dollar amount is like a minimum. I think it said $4.5 million.
Oh wow.
Yeah, the interpreter was one of his longtime friends, been with him for however long, and he just took. He's like, hey, I got some gambling debts like that, and he went off the deep end to the tune of like $4.5 million, and the Ohtani camp finally said like, hey, we need to look into this legally because there's some massive theft going on, and like I think we're going to learn a lot of more details over the coming weeks because this seems like. What we know now is like the tip of the iceberg, and there's a whole lot more below the surface that's coming out. But that's wild, especially for like your friend and someone you trust.
Well, trust, I said it before, and I'll say it again. You can never ever trust those kind of people.
Whoa. What do you mean, people?
No. Those people, like the con artist kind. The con artist kind, like just
those kind of
bad people in general.
That's fair and good advice from you, Mike.
Yes.
Don't trust
bad
con
people.
artists
or them O's.
You don't mean crap. You don't mean the kind that get.
Oh boy, that is a deep cut in the weave that only a few of us will know.
Specific kind of con artists we're talking about.
Yeah, I don't know what you're talking about.
only Sean knows, along with what he told us earlier. Before that, no one knew about this other than what Sean's talking about. And I hope none of them are listening to this podcast.
So anyway, no, it's incredibly fucked up in so many ways.
Like I said before, I don't know how to interpret this.
I need an interpreter with a gambling problem.
I don't know. I don't know how to get us off of that, but
what's the next?
I don't know.
Hey, I know it's jumping
about?
back, but I said it last week. And that joke about the biggest fight is Mike Tyson trying to pronounce Netflix.
To put a bow on that, because we were talking about something. Are we going to have a watch party for the fight?
It's in July, I think. But yeah.
We should totally.
I think
Netflix.
It's on Netflix.
You don't have to pay.
I don't think it's going to be a pay-per-view thing.
No,
I think
if you have a Netflix account, you can see it.
All right.
That's amazing.
They're just trying to
trust Netflix.
Is that when they're going to crack down on the sharing and everybody's going to be like, wait, I can't get Netflix?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
It's my brother's account.
They'll figure it out.
Yeah. I'm interested. I think it's going to be a bit of a spectacle.
I want to see,
especially if it's no pay-per-views.
Jake Paul tagging.
They're wearing full pads, body gear.
Now, if he gets tagged in and he gets knocked out by Mike, does the other brother have to come back in and get
absolutely? Yeah, absolutely.
So we could have a 2-for-1 Mike Tyson knockout fest.
It's gonna have to be like that.
I would pay a lot of money to see Mike Tyson fight both of them and knock them both out.
I'd call
it hilarious.
Just paying extra money for wrestling.
Can they make Jake Paul dress like Lil Mac and it'd be like a punch out? So he knocks him out with the one punch.
Well, I speaking of like memes that I sent one a long time ago, probably a month ago, about we saw this in the video game form not long ago, well back in the day from the first Punch Out, which had Little Mac in it, and that's going to be Jake Paul.
Glass Joe.
Yeah, Glass Joe. So I kind of hope the same thing comes. Like one punch, just get in, knock him out. It's going to be bad for the ratings, but I want that fight over with in like 20 punches.
Yeah, I'm with you.
I want 17 of them to be from Mike Tyson.
To me, Mike Tyson is a fucking legend. He's an idol of mine since I was a little kid, and see anything other than a Mike Tyson knocking the fuck out of Jake Paul is just unacceptable to me. So, but I know there's a lot more going into this fight with just being staged and rigged.
Is there going to be? I don't think
it's going to be that rigged. Personally,
It's a lot of money.
I think that's the other big.
They're going to make their money regardless. And McGregor made his money.
It's like a celebrity.
Losing.
It's a celebrity.
That's what it is.
Two other things I wanted to bring up. Mike was talking about the legacy of Mike Tyson on the record. He's been out of boxing for so long.
Yeah.
I don't think it's going to hurt his legacy or reputation at all. Let's say he loses, and let's say it's not a fixed fight. It's just straight up like, hey, Mike Tyson can't really move to the ability that would allow him to dodge a lot of punches. And let's say he just loses by TKO or knockout, whatever the case may be, that's not going to hurt him at all. I don't think, because he's a 58-year-old man that has clearly some movement issues, but he is a legend no matter what. That's like if let's say Tom Brady went to.
It's almost like Michael Jordan comes back and plays LeBron James.
Sure,
Mike loses.
But I wouldn't necessarily compare Jake Paul to LeBron James.
But let's say Mike Tyson, let's say Michael Jordan comes back to play basketball, and he's on a shit team, and he has horrible numbers. That's not going to hurt his legacy. He's still arguably the greatest basketball player of all time. On the flip side, I don't think this is going to do anything for Jake Paul other than just get him more clicks. We know he's not a real season ranked professional boxer. He might have the card for it, but he's not really
Didn't he lose to Tommy Fury?
Yeah. But I don't see this hurting.
Wasn't Mike Tyson on Jackass or something? Was he the one that pretty much fuck out on somebody and knocked him out?
That was Butterbean.
Yeah.
No, wasn't there? It was wasn't he the Jackass? Was it he took one hard punch and he was knocked out cold? Was that Mike Tyson on there or no?
No, that was somebody else.
I think as long as this is not a random fluke punch or that looks soft, hits one of them and knocks him out, we should all go into this knowing with the idea that this is a spectacle and this is entertainment and not a real organized sanctioned boxing match.
So how many punches right now, real quick? How many punches before it's over?
Do I think?
Yes. Quick.
2 rounds.
2 rounds?
Yeah, I think it should be 2 rounds.
Okay.
Because I think he's going to try and dodge Mike Tyson's power.
Bite or no bite?
No bite. I don't think.
I think it's going to go past 2.
All limbs are going to stay intact.
It'll probably go more than 2. I think
knockout or no knockout?
Someone's got to get knocked out.
I think Tyson's going to go for that.
I think Tyson wins by knockout. I think Jake Paul would win by TKO or decision.
Right.
Something like that. I don't see him having the punch power to knock him out. But then again, Mike Tyson's 58 years old. So who the hell knows what he can really take and handle, because he hasn't boxed in a while.
I'm going to say 5 or 6 rounds.
Who wins?
I want Tyson. I like Tyson to win. I think he'll win.
Okay.
I think
there you go, everybody.
Well, when you were bringing up about the sanctity of boxing and all this, it seems like all of these gimmicky fights, the person like Mayweather, the person who should win wins, but they're not. They're still going to make it a thing.
Right. They kind of help the other fighter along.
Right.
Let me ask you this question, and this I think kind of a fun hypothetical. For $100,000, would you fight Mike Tyson?
For $100,000?
Yes. To get in the ring,
I could use it.
And
so that is a tricky question, right?
So here, let me try to take a second. I'm thinking about this on the fly, so let me kind of walk through this as I think about it. There's this. What's the threshold number?
I would think about doing it only because it's my idol. But at the same time, you can get really killed by this guy.
This guy can fucking kill you. I won't have brain damage after.
It would legitimately be one nice punch, and I'd be.
Do I get to wear the headgear like Jake Paul?
No. So treat it as though it would be a sanctioned fight. You have to get into the ring, no headgear. What's $500,000? To fight Mike Tyson, not just hey, I'm gonna hit you once and we're done. You have to go until either he KOs you or TKOs you, or you somehow
not
hit
just
him.
take one shot like Johnny Knoxville.
Correct. You have to go. You have to go through a full fight, however many punches it takes for him to beat you, or you somehow do
what
it.
If he hits me once and I lay down?
He would knock me out.
What happens if you hit the gut shot and you just
okay,
fall down?
That's fine, but how much is it worth to you to get in the ring to find out how it goes down for you?
I don't know, man.
So I'll get
$500,000.
you a shirt.
If you watch videos of how this man hits, I mean,
That's my entry.
If he hits me one time and I just lay down for the count, does that count?
Sure, but it's legitimate though. You can't be like, "Oh, you hit me."
Question.
You can't be like,
Can I tag somebody in?
No, it's you.
You tag it.
Yeah, you can tag it. You can tag in anyone in your family. That's it. It's all you can do.
So, I mean, it's not like you're being a sissy by taking one of his shots.
I mean, I don't really want to be punched by anyone.
Well, yeah.
For $100,000.
But
Well, for $100,000, yeah.
$500,000. Would you get into a ring and fight Mike Tyson?
I still say $1 million.
Minimum's $1 million for you. A minimum, okay. Biff?
Because at least I can say I got $1 million.
Yeah.
Punched in the face.
To legitimately fight Mike Tyson, and whether he hits you with one punch or more, whatever it takes.
I take as much as I can get, but like you said, $100,000, I'll take $100,000. I mean, like it's
that. So you're okay with $100,000? That's it.
Yeah,
I'll take a fall
for the possibility of fucking dying.
I mean, then I'm done.
$100,000, Katie Bryan.
Then it's useless. Bury me
Would my
with it.
family get the money if I was
Yes. Yeah. Todd, what's the number?
Y'all can all take racks out at my funeral.
I'll give you $20 if you lick some shit.
It has to be at least
40.
No, I don't even know if $1 million. It has to be at least $1 million. You know. I don't know, man. 10 million. Because I mean, even $1 million is like
$1 million.
That's half of what they're getting for the actual fight.
$1 million can go a long way.
So what are they?
And brain damage.
You can tag.
What do they
We're paralyzed after
What do they
this
get
fight.
for the fight?
I'll be able to get that nice wheelchair accessory on my car.
I think it's like they're getting like $20 million.
I get an elevator in my house.
I'll take $1 million.
$10 million. $10 million to get in a ring with Travis.
Jeez.
Minimum.
What's the minimum it would take to get in a ring and
I
actually
think I
fight Mike
probably
Tyson?
pissed myself before I made it to him.
It'd be like True Lies. It'd be like Pete or something.
I'm pretty sure I get knocked out with one shot. So, but I'd say $2 million.
$5 million. $5 million.
I think
$5 million. If I could tag somebody.
no. Yeah, only a family member. You can only tag in a family member.
Okay, I'll tag in my mama. She'll
No,
scare the shit out of me.
you do not do it. I don't know. Old Cuban would might back down Mike Tyson.
If I'm getting my $2 million, I'll take one shot and then lay down. So,
But it's like
I'll be dead after the
No,
one
his
shot.
question though: what if he hit you hard enough that like you didn't like get knocked out, but you were like, "Oh, I'm stunned," and he still gets to hit you again until you are done.
The ref would follow it. He'd be like, "Look at this idiot."
He sees the punch coming and he says, "Oh shit, my spleen."
Oh, Brock Lesnar.
I think my number is probably $1 million to $2 million, probably $2 million to get into the ring and legitimately let that man have a shot. Like it's probably going to take one. Maybe two if I have my guard, if I have my hand up and doesn't hit me as
I
bad.
think if I had my guard up in the head, I'd still fall down.
Brain damage.
Yeah,
If you punch me in the chest, would I collapse?
but my worry is you have your hands up to defend yourself, and he hits you in the stomach or in the ribs, and it's even worse.
Yeah, I don't want to know what broken ribs feels like.
You hit you in the stomach, you shit yourself.
So it's funny,
I'm okay
right?
with shitting myself over like
It's
broken
funny.
ribs.
This is really funny that we're talking about like a close to 60-year-old man, right? Can you imagine the four suckers
That fought him when he was in his
fought him
prime.
when he was in his prime?
For not that much money.
Not even that much money. Like,
Yeah,
oh,
Holyfield, who beat him twice and had lost.
At least those suckers were also professionally trained
yeah, true.
athletes that could also punch and probably defend themselves better than we could.
Evander Holyfield was a machine, though. So I mean,
Yeah.
Yeah, Holyfield was great.
With or without the ear.
I don't know. You can't hear too well, but
I think it was just
It wasn't a full ear. It was a piece of the lobe.
I think it was just the cartilage that got ripped off.
All right, Rocky Balboa or Mike Tyson?
Well, we were talking about a movie character.
we're talking about a fictitious.
Hey, no, seriously.
I'm going Mike Tyson any day.
I'll fight Stallone.
I mean, I saw Drago kill a man. So
No, I'm not saying Stallone. I'm saying
That's
Rocky.
true. That would be a better
Drago would be scarier.
I'm getting there, okay? I'm getting off topic.
He killed Chip.
Anyway, but I think we've exhausted all the sports stuff
I think we've
for the night. Mike, you brought up something that you wanted to talk about that I think a lot of us don't know hardly anything about. So I'll give you the floor to kind of walk us into this Megan Hall thing.
Oh, yeah.
And explain to it. So quickly, kind of just give us a backstory of what's going on.
So Megan Hall was that police officer, I don't know, Sandusky or some shit
She
like
had
that.
the train run on.
She had the train run on her,
Oh,
right?
no.
While she was on duty, the 6 cops just were taking advantage of her. Railroaded her. Six ways to Sunday.
By a train. I was like, oh, that's so tragic.
This is a perfect segue into my topic, by the way. So go ahead.
This is what I was referring to earlier with the boobies. But anyway.
You didn't think it was leading
No.
Caitlin Clark's bush.
No. So anyway, so we have an update for y'all listening. Recently, Megan Hall got awarded. She sued the city and got awarded a $500,000 payment because her attorney argued that she was getting groomed. She was the fresh meat in the department.
Yes, she was.
She was getting groomed to do these kind of sexual acts and kind of coerced into doing these
she was
things.
getting taken advantage of.
She was getting taken advantage of, and she got awarded the $500,000 from the city. So I'm asking y'all.
Our city?
Rumble Priest.
No, the city that they live in.
Sandusky.
I think it's I don't know.
Yeah,
Ohio was the same. I don't know.
Those in Tennessee.
Tennessee, whatever fucking city it is.
All
right.
So my question to y'all.
Ohio was
Tommy Boy, yeah.
So my question to y'all is: A, do you think this is right? Do you think she got away with, with whatever she did? What are your thoughts on this whole thing?
My thoughts is a poor son of a bitch that she's engaged to, whatever, or married to.
He stayed with her, but now he's got.
I guess now he's got $500K.
I thought Mike was going to ask, so how much would it cost for you to get railroaded by $5? I'm like, Mike, I don't know if I want to answer that question.
Story.
That's another skip topic.
Yeah. So I know the stories. I probably maybe more than some of the other guys. It's a sensitive topic, so I'm going to try to be. I'm not going to tiptoe. I'm going to tiptoe around as much as I can without trying to not give you an answer.
It's not that.
I think there's something more to the whole. Like, she consented to this, I believe.
Yeah,
I think so.
From what I was.
So I think there's a fine line on this whole grooming thing versus her consenting and they were grooming her to do this. That's a tough one, man.
She would have caught a few cucumbers today.
I'd like to be sensitive to the fact that she went through some sort of trauma, emotionally, mentally dealing with the situation. If these officers were pressing her and threatening her with like promotion or her job and stuff like that.
Okay, so do you think from this new award of money towards her blaming the guilds on them grooming, do you think that they should get some kind of consequence and maybe some criminal, whatever?
If that's saying that they're now.
Should they go to jail now, for the rest of their lives, because they coerced this girl into heaven?
It's in so many words. It's rape, right? If they're saying that they're.
I don't think it's exactly that. Because again, I think she consented. I think the issue with the grooming thing is they kind of led her down this path and told her, hey, if you don't do this, like your ability to be promoted, move up or something like that. I think that's
blackmailed her.
Yeah, some of those more along those lines. I don't think it's as criminal as rape per se, but there's definitely some malfeasance and some bad things that they did. Mm-hmm. But she also agreed to do whatever she did with them.
She didn't do this one time.
I understand.
She didn't do this 3 times.
Mm-hmm.
She did this countless number of times where she got in that evidence room.
And look, I guess I could see both sides of this. I feel like maybe early on, maybe
got plowed.
Maybe the first time,
like the rats?
Maybe the first time it was like a peer pressure thing.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. But as many times as she did it,
you would think there would be a part where she would stand up and say, "No, I don't want to do this."
Absolutely.
So she obviously liked a certain part of it.
Absolutely.
You would think you would report it to your supervisors early if you wanted to stop and to have this kind of go away.
I hate to say it, for a cop salary in wherever, Tennessee, like, you do all this for what? Like, to get promoted to what, another $5,000? Or $6,000? Or to have, like she that enthusiastic about law enforcement to do
find
this.
another profession.
Like, I mean, like, I'm just saying, like, I would be like,
raised.
screw this, I'll just go to another precinct or something. Like, if she was really, like, completely just non,
That
consenting.
I guess I kind of have to play both sides, and like I believe there should be punishment and maybe some sort of criminal thing for these officers because they probably couldn't coerce her into getting into this lifestyle situation.
Didn't they already lose their job?
I believe so. I haven't read all that they did.
Lost their job.
So they deserve punishment and on some level for that. She has to be responsible for some of this as well because again, she agreed to let this situation happen and they continue to happen.
Yeah.
They're awarding her money. I'm not surprised because the government or legal systems award people money for things they don't like. There was a sort of long time ago. How many times have you heard like a criminal in Texas one year? He was robbing a house. So I think he went and he fell through like either the roof or one floor and sued the homeowners and got money from them because even though he was robbing their house. So
that's what I was saying.
There's a lot of like shit on the legal side that awards people money that they probably don't deserve or they shouldn't be entitled to. So I think it kind of goes both ways on this one. I
honestly think how stupid can you be in this day and age to think like, oh, this is what I have to do to get promoted, like whatever they were telling her.
Right.
Like she had to agree to some of this.
She must have been like, oh, my husband's never put it there before.
Or maybe the husband was in on it. Who knows? There's so much behind the scenes.
He was the pimp. Hey, I got my wife.
He's the guy that likes to sit in the corner and watch.
My husband was,
I wonder if she's going to end up with an OnlyFans.
was he the cuck filming?
Maybe. Now, if it pops up,
he was a bumper.
I'm being cuckolded by David Lindhagen.
If it pops up down the road that she has an OnlyFans and that she's now recording and making profit off of having sex for like on OnlyFans and stuff like that, that's going to bring back a whole new set of concerns with how this all went down.
Absolutely true. But I don't know. I think there was. I don't know.
You also had another topic. We'll get to Todd had one that kind of relates to something.
My topic is very, very similar to this.
Okay.
How many of you heard of Brianna Coppage?
What?
I'm aware of, yes.
Brianna
Coppage. So she was the teacher. Let me swallow this pretzel first.
Yeah. While he's swallowing, I'll fill in. She was a teacher, I think, in Indiana that got fired because they found out that she had an OnlyFans. And she did an interview. Said she made like $500,000 to $1 million after she got fired because her popularity grew.
That was what I brought that up when I was teaching my daughter about negative publicity.
Yes,
like,
that
should
episode,
I use this example?
Mm-hmm.
Like,
while she's back in the news, and I'll let Todd get to the rest of it, she applied for a new job as like a social events coordinator or something along those lines with a local company, and then they hired her, and then like 5 days later they fired her because she quote unquote violated their social media guidelines and rules. But they didn't, per her words, they didn't explain to her why she was fired or what rules she broke. But clearly they found her OnlyFans and decided, hey, this is probably not the best look for our employees to have this whole other side while she's out trying to do fundraising and awareness for whatever job.
Just find the OnlyFans. Right?
Yeah, see, I guess it's where
I think somebody there was looking for the OnlyFans.
Because first off, like, I didn't necessarily agree with her getting fired from the get-go. Because, I mean, I understand she's a school teacher and that it's, what you're doing is kind of against what students should be looking at. But, I mean, at the same time, like, it's outside of school hours. It's not like she's in the classroom doing it. It's on her own time.
What's the difference?
Varsity Blues.
And I don't think she was. I don't think she was even really advertising it. I just think it kind of got leaked to the.
Why is it any different that a teacher does it versus like a doctor or versus
Yeah, I mean, exactly.
Anyone else on the planet?
A garbage man or versus
this kind of like is.
Well, my garbage man doesn't have an OnlyFans.
This is adjacent to the discussion, like people talking about like, oh, if you can do like weed, let's say,
Like
at your
different standard
at your profession. So like oh, people are like, oh, well, weed's legal, I should be able to do it. Well, your company gets to decide if you can or cannot do that. So there may not be legal things to it, but they may not want that to be something that you do. So you may have an issue with that.
Like that's
yeah. It's company policy that
I guess
still don't allow weed.
Teachers, it all revolves around the fact that they work with kids.
Sure. And I think I'm with the logic of, hey, that's not something you would want a teacher or educator or someone that is working with or around children to be doing, because there can lead to a lot of bad examples being set and things like that. Granted, on the other side, it's her personal business or personal life. You do what you want. And you remember the story of the woman in California that they kicked her kids out of school because they found out that the mom had an OnlyFans. And that's even, I guess, harsher of a thing because she wasn't even a teacher or anything. She just, they really removed her kids from the school because she was doing that and they didn't want that to happen. So I'm kind of on the side of like, hey, it's what you do in your personal time and that should be your business. But I also understand like, hey, you work around kids and there could be, that's just leaving yourself open to situations that could happen. Because what happens if she brings one of these kids in, or maybe a former student or a kid that's now, let's say, 18, so he's legal but not graduated yet, into one of her videos, and this gets
different. That's different.
I agree, but you have it's like there's a path to this being.
So if you work at Chuck E. Cheese, you shouldn't have an OnlyFans.
I didn't say that,
but you work around children.
I agree. I'm just saying I understand.
You don't see that
I understand
Chuck E. Cheese working.
Now, obviously, if you get one of the kids to be in your OnlyFans, that's a fucking issue.
What I'm saying is, I understand how they may want to be a bit more strict with people that work around or with kids in the situation. I'm not saying I agree with that. They should fire her for that. I'm saying I understand.
They just have a policy in place.
I understand like they might want to scrutinize that more than say if it was just Joe Blow Garbage Man having an OnlyFans.
Right. Well, like when I was a state employee, we had all these dumb things about like elections. You couldn't like campaign for people. All these goofy policies because you were a state employee that like you couldn't even attend. Like if I wanted to go to a Trump rally, I'm not trying to get political. I'm just saying like, you know what I'm saying? Like all these policies. If I wanted to go to something like that or campaign for somebody, I couldn't do it. Or even put a sign in my yard. I couldn't endorse a candidate or anything like that. And like. He doesn't have rallies. He talks at Mexican restaurants
but another example. So
break the rules, Mike.
Employees of Major League Baseball and probably like NFL and other sports too. But I know because they were talking about the Ohtani thing. There's a commentator that works for MLB Network, and they are not allowed to gamble,
right?
Because there are gateways and paths for nefarious activities to happen. So kind of saying to the teachers, maybe they don't want that gateway to be available or to be a thing because for whatever reason. So I get what you're saying. I agree that what you do outside of your job is your business. But I understand why maybe in that sector they don't want kids.
When you're involved with kids is that you don't want it would create too much of an uproar with the kids if they found, our future's on the internet and we can see our boobies and all that kind of crap, and it just creates too much distraction.
So we were talking about this girl that got railroaded by 6 people, and that's kind of what happened to Todd with the storm. So anyway,
I was just saying, it just seems like I get what you're saying that. You don't want the kids that you teach to be able to find those videos, but at the same time, it's her own personal time.
I agree.
So I mean, it doesn't even pertain to her everyday job. I think what I have. So I think there's just a lot of gray area in the mix, and it's just like I don't know. I think what I have more of an issue with is the new company hiring her, not doing their background research first, realizing like doing their somebody from that hiring team knew who she was. Yeah, or not doing their full due diligence to say like, hey, this girl got fired, or call references and say this is the girl that got fired, and making an OnlyFans, leading the girl on, hiring her, giving her this job, and then firing her before she even really got the chance to start. based upon the same thing that got her fired before.
So what I remember from the story and reading pieces here and there, she submitted references from her previous in jobs, and I don't think it got brought up or that. But you don't need to do, quote unquote, a lot of due diligence. You can just search her name, and one of the first Google references that pops up is why she was fired from her previous job. Like, you don't need to go more than 2 searches on Google to find out, like, it's there. Someone knew. Someone also probably didn't care and hired, and then they probably got some backlash from someone else, like, hey, do you know the quote-unquote person that you hired and what she's done and this and that, her history? And they're like, oh, let's cut this off before we get in any kind of social trouble with people in our community and fire, because even though we knew, we thought it maybe would be a big deal or whatever, and clearly it was to some people, so they just fucking fired after 5 days. But there's no way someone didn't know, because again, the second Google search is probably popping up what happened to her, and probably has a link to her. She's famous now.
Ever have an employee?
Of course.
Like, should she ever work
trying to get a job at?
Like,
she was
condemn this lady for the rest of her life.
She was doing some sort of like social fundraising or social work for her community, like her city or council or community or whatever. Is like doing like outreach, advertising, or maybe fundraising work. Yeah. So not working with kids, I don't think directly, but whatever the case may be, someone knew and they just didn't think it was get caught off. Someone didn't tell a higher up who would make a decision.
This was after she got fired from being a teacher.
Oh yeah, this is like months. Yeah,
she shouldn't work ever again.
Megan Hall, the OnlyFans.
Megan Hall should never be in an unsupervised environment with other guys, and the world.
Hey, her husband's got $500K and chlamydia.
Yeah, and that's the same thing. Embryonic Coppedge's defense. I mean, the girl's made probably close to $1 million on OnlyFans. So
I guarantee she's made more.
So, I mean, it's not... I don't feel overly sorry for her in that regard, but, I mean, at the same time, it's just like...
There was a guarantee.
I just feel like there's not a total fairness factor to it.
I agree. And again, like, I don't work in that sector of life where I'm around kids or have to make decisions that involve people that work with kids like that. So I can't really say a whole lot how that world treats and cares about the personality or the profile of the people that they hire and work with. It sucks that she's probably this is going to follow her forever, and probably any future job she gets. But I mean,
there's certain jobs
that's
she can get.
Right. Well,
that's not jobs.
She can be an OnlyFans influencer.
She needs to change her name to Schnandry Smart.
But I'm sure there's some company that will hire her. Like, yeah, we know what you did. Okay, we don't really care. And whatever, just do your job.
She could be a Hooters girl.
She could have it like she could have a job in any public sector that she's qualified for.
But if you're doing fundraising and put things in the public eye, where like they're like I can see why
it's going to be going to be tougher for her going forward now that this is out in the news again.
But she would be good in the public eye because she has a lot of experience with that.
She's good behind the camera. So
yes.
Well, didn't we say this before that anyone can have an OnlyFans? You just got to give up your dignity,
or just don't shoot from there.
It's like, yeah, anyone can make money on OnlyFans as long as you don't care about your family and friends and everyone else knowing about it.
So many people are anonymous, like in terms of like not showing their face or like covering up like noticeable tattoos and stuff like that, and they still make a ton of money. It depends on how you want, I guess, go about your OnlyFans.
I mean, not that I know from personal experience, but they do have those, pages like on King Cake Hub where like the woman's face is never in the videos. It's always just the body. It's like,
when you're buying Randazzo's king cakes, you don't want to know what king cake it is, right?
Yeah.
Is that what you're talking about?
Yeah. No, you're enjoying the king cake as it is. You don't care where it came from. You just,
you don't care the brand.
It's a good looking king cake. I just want to look at one for a little while.
It's like Pornhub with king cakes.
But like I'm telling you right now, I know 2 people that have OnlyFans, and I'd say probably less than.
Do you care to release their names?
No, because they don't release their photos, or they don't release their face in their photos, and they don't do other things, so they are completely anonymous. But I know they have them because I've had discussions with them about it, and I've talked about the money they made or just things about that business and that life, but we stumbled upon one of them and like, oh, I know who this person is because there was a background that was very specific to this person. And through doing some digging and talking to another person, I found out like, yo, that's so-and-so. Okay. But you could walk by her in the store and you would never know.
And so to add to that, the Mike Tyson getting, punched in the thing, would you be in, if someone said you could have an OnlyFans or a freaking Pornhub account and make like $1 million, but your face wouldn't be in it, would you do it?
Sign me up.
Absolutely.
Hey, you know what I like? Money.
I'd be on the small PP website, but
Wait, you wouldn't do Foot Finder?
I could do that.
There you go.
But it sounds like these past two topics really.
Travis, if your face wasn't in it, they wouldn't know you were Asian.
They would think I was. But it sounded like these past two topics really grinded some gears.
And now it's time for another segment of What Grinds Todd's Gears.
So let me tell you what grinds my gears.
All right.
Well, as you know, as Todd and I's 40th birthday was last week, and on Saturday of last weekend, the day after our birthday, we decided to go brewery hopping, and we went down Tchoupitoulas, and we hit some of the usuals. We went to Port Orleans, which Port Orleans was lovely. NOLA was probably even lovelier. But then we went to
the old human, it's feisty old self.
We can talk about that on a later episode because I would like to call in. We'd like to call Brian Newman in and have him talk about Brian and have a talk about what happened at NOLA that day with Brian. But that didn't ruin our experience. NOLA was awesome as usual.
Little goose.
After we left NOLA, we went to our third stop, and this was my first time ever being to this place. I think Patrick had been there before. He may have been the only one of us who's been there before. I've heard this place the name is pronounced one of two ways. It's spelled Miel, so I don't know if it's pronounced Miel, but I've heard some people say it's just meal. But we go to this bar. All right, I walk in.
Just to clear up really quick, I've only been there once. It's not really my kind of crowd. Not the kind of people I really want to go be around to go have a beer with. But so I guess I've been there once.
We're going back to Travis's Caitlin Clark comment.
Oh, jeez.
That's.
I think
we've had a lot of goers there.
Whoa, hey, don't hair shame. I'm okay with that. So what if it's a place that people do have that go? There's nothing wrong with that. Anyway, carry on.
So,
A lot of hair.
Todd and I, for Christmas, our wives gave us
Hair of the dog.
Our wives gave us what's called a pub pass, and it is a book that you're supposed to get 25 free pints to 25 different breweries across the state of Louisiana. And I noticed, I said pints. What I've been noticing, and again, no knock on Port Orleans and NOLA, but they've been skimping on the pints, and they've been given smaller glasses. We get to Miel, and ask the bartender or barmaid, I guess you would call her, for my first beer of the night at this location. And she goes and fills up a pint glass with my beer. Turns around, sees that I'm going to pay with this pub pass, and she rolls her eyes, makes a noise like this, and then dumps out half of my pint. So, needless to say, that was the wrong first impression from Miel, because one, it wasn't my decision to buy the pub pass or make Miel part of this pub pass. I believe that decision comes from the ownership. But I had never been to this place. That was my first impression. It turned me off. By the way, that barmaid should be fired because that's piss poor customer service. And also, the two beers that I had there tasted like shit. So I'm never going to go back to Miel. And I hope people listening would follow suit because...
But the little fellow working at the cashier was all right.
I do want to go back and play the N64. I'm just saying.
He was lovely.
Well, Miel, Miel,
little fellow working the bar.
You lost me
like
as a customer due to poor customer service by your barmaid. And in case you're wondering what she looked like, she had a big gap between her teeth and was covered in tattoos. So that would be my only, and she had some reddish hair.
You're being generous. It's bar bitch.
But anyway, needless to say,
Why will tattoo hate, man?
that's my. I'm just trying to describe her. She was covered in tattoos, red hair, had a big gap between her teeth. But that wasn't the thing that turned
Did
me
she
off.
have a bulge?
I didn't see that low. I only saw the upper part of her body. But she it wasn't the tattoos or the gap between her teeth that turned me off. It was the fact that she sighed, rolled her eyes, and dumped out half my beer for paying with a pub pass that I had no decision in Miel accepting. So Miel, you can fuck off.
I don't get to dumping out the beer. It's not like you can put it back in the
It was
can.
bad customer service is what it was.
So did you report this to the Miel management?
I did not.
This is on par with getting railroaded by 5.
But
Did you write a Yelp review, Gerald Grafowski?
I should have. But this will come up on our. I'm sure this is going to come up on both our Facebook and Twitter page.
Did you put the
barmaid was a fucking bitch.
As far as the wasted wagons
Did
will
she-
not be going back to Miel.
Did she used to work at Porch and Patio?
I can neither confirm nor deny that.
I know which one you're talking about. That one was old, though.
Old bitch.
That one was old.
Yeah, I remember her. Yeah.
Oh yeah, this one didn't have tattoos. No,
I will say this: the beer selection that was available that day was not my favorite. There was a lot of just really
A lot of pickled sours.
I'm not a sour guy, and there were a lot of sours and IPAs, and really what they consider creative, probably custom brews there.
Artsy beers.
Yeah, they did.
terrible.
So the sour I had, which I ordered by accident because I can't read, was actually not bad.
You can't read.
Well, I read the sign. I read the beer description incorrectly.
Today, Patrick.
I don't have a stuttering problem. I just can't read, dude.
Just riff on one after the other.
That was Billy Madison.
Hey, Biff, you can politely go fuck yourself.
I'm
With Miel.
Yeah, politely though, because I care about you, and I like politely you can go fuck yourself. But yeah, the beers were not great. The sour didn't taste that bad, but there was not a lot for me to choose from, so I will probably not venture there again. Not because I had bad service, like Travis did, but
Well, Sean ended up buying my second beer, and I ended up standing in line with him. And the same waitress came up to me and asked if she could help me. I said, "No, I'm good," and I just waited for Sean to order for me. So, but yeah, I will not be going back to that place. If gentlemen in this room, a couple of y'all may have never been, I would not advise going.
We're gonna boycott it. I think
just-
we need to do a Wasted Wagons boycott.
Absolutely. And look, we stick to the same ones around that area. You know, we have Port Orleans, we have NOLA, we have Urban South. We'll continue to go there and just kind of pass on Miel moving forward.
We could leave a flaming pile of dog crap on their front step.
In a brown paper bag.
Good.
or would we just kind of like Ricky Stenicki, just take the dog crap site on fire and see what happens?
Or we can take little cricket chirping things.
Stick it underneath the bar.
But stick them on every table. It is outside. And we're like, man, there's a lot of crickets out tonight.
Crickets everywhere.
So, Travis, you got some pretty strong opinions about
We
about
have a
Miel.
friend who's a prankster.
To close out the episode, I think you want to talk about a movie. So I think the floor is. Who had the movie review?
That was me.
Which one?
Didn't you want to talk about the Royals?
Oh yeah, we can talk about the Royals real quick.
Sure.
Just I don't know why. I'm not the kind of guy that is into this kind of shit, but somehow or another, I got caught up watching TV.
Royals.
The Royal thing was on, and it was in a couple of
Randy
TikTok
Moss.
feeds that I watched. Basically, the thing out there was, where is Kate Middleton? She was disappeared for ever since like early January, I
Like
think.
cancer.
Yes, that's the update. Don't ruin it, goddammit! So anyway, that was the big thing. Where is Kate Middleton? A lot of people thought that her and what's his name? Harry.
No, Charles.
Charles.
Carson Wentz.
What's the
It's
other
William.
name? William. that they were going to get a divorce, and some people said that she was sick. Some people said that she got kidnapped by aliens. I don't know. Anyway, there was an update.
Alien. She went home.
There was an update.
Aliens, but
there was an update most recently. She finally came out. She did a little interview, and she has cancer.
What kind of cancer?
I don't know. Don't know. I don't think she said.
Anus cancer.
Maybe. I don't know. But anyway, we found Kate
cancer.
Middleton.
We found her.
We found her.
Is that the movie update?
Or no.
Travis says the movie update.
That was a quick thing from
such as tradition.
Royals. Okay.
So if you're into Royals and you follow that kind of shit, you want to phone in and let us know what you know, please do so.
The live listeners that are going to call into the show.
The pre-recorded podcast.
Yeah, let's do a live episode one day and allow callers to call in, see how this goes for us.
1-800-dipshits.
if we didn't have a title for the episode, that would be the title. 1-800. You know what? From now going forward, whenever we have something we want to talk about, our phone number is now 1-800-dipshits.
But as y'all, before we went into the Royals talk, we mentioned a movie review.
It's got to be what I think it is.
Well, Todd and I went to a movie on Friday night, 2 nights ago.
Who'd you go with, Travis?
We went with our friend Travis.
Which theater?
We went to the Clearview Palace. The ones with the big comfy seats.
I didn't know you guys liked the Clearview Palace.
Well, look, one thing was we were so used to going to the Elmwood one that Todd and I actually drove to the Elmwood one, not realizing the tickets were good. So we get there like right on opening time, and ended up having to book it to Clearview. We made it still on time with like two previews left.
Where were you guys? I ordered like 10 chicken wings.
It was like 20 minutes of 20 minutes preview. But we went and saw this movie called Imaginary, which is it's a horror movie where basically a stuffed teddy bear who's originally owned by the main character.
Chauncey.
His name is Chauncey, and now the main character is in her 40s or so, or around 40, and she moves back into her childhood house with her new husband and 2 stepdaughters, and the younger stepdaughter ends up starting to develop the same things that happened to her as a kid with this little stuffed bear named Chauncey. It starts out like your stereotypical horror movie where things are moving around in the house, bad things are happening.
A lot of jump scares.
A lot of jump scares.
I hate that shit.
And probably 3/4 into the movie, it just goes completely off the rails, and they go into this imaginary world, and that's where it really lost me, and just became what the hell is this crap?
Is it called an Insidious, the Nether, or some shit?
That's where the edible really kicked in.
I don't even. The movie. Todd ate one of those before the movie.
Jesus.
But
did he catch on?
Yeah, at that point. It lost me, and I was just like, how did they even make a movie about this? It was pretty terrible, and I think, when the 3 of us walked out the theater, we all kind of had that same general consensus, if you're thinking about going to see the movie Imaginary, you can pass, because it's a pretty stupid-ass plot.
Now, one thing that Travis didn't quite say yet, but
Which Travis?
This Travis.
Okay.
The bear, when they actually show it in its true form, it's actually pretty cool looking. It's I think they're supposed to
show an alien inside the bear.
They're supposed to say make it look like it's scary looking, but it's kind of funny looking. So it's me and Travis were both laughing.
Yeah, because
was it like a Funko Chase material kind of thing?
Probably so. I think if they made a Funko Pop of that, I'm pretty sure Travis would get it.
Was it like a
full
actual bear or like a Bert Kreischer bear?
It was like a very cartoony, unrealistic looking bear. But the way you find them out is they go into this imaginary world, and he's like,
what is
it? It looks like a dog.
And this bear is just standing in the corner of a dark room, and it's supposed to be scary, but then once I see it, I just start busting out laughing. I was like, holy shit.
It looks like that thing from Labyrinth.
And it's drooling and shit. He's like,
that looks like that creature from Labyrinth.
Yeah.
Isn't it Labyrinth? Or am I thinking of Dark Crystal? I don't remember.
So anyway, if y'all are thinking about going to see the movie Imaginary, you can go ahead and pass on it. It's another raunchy horror movie that just doesn't live up to any type of expectation. And like I said, by the end of the movie, you walk out and just say, like, how the hell did that plot even get approved by a filming company?
Real quick, if no one's seen it but me, we don't have to talk about it. But did anyone see the new Roadhouse?
No.
Y'all don't want to see it? I actually thought it was pretty
By
good.
the way, 4.8 stars is what Imaginary got on IMDb. So it shows you how fucking bad it is.
Who's in it?
I thought it was 4.8 out of 5.
Anyway,
I mean, the
4.8
only,
out of 10.
I mean, the biggest name is the guy who was on the Prodigal Son
Yeah,
show.
Tom Payne from the Prodigal Son is like, don't want to even heard
And
of
he
it.
wasn't even like that big of a role, to tell you the truth. Like, he was the girl's husband, but he barely showed him.
The lead character is DeWanda Wise.
It's Adam Scott.
So the real story here is not really the movie, correct? Was there something else that happened while you were watching the movie?
No, nothing else happened.
Are you sure?
Not this time.
I had a very enjoyable end for me.
did you go elbow deep in the popcorn bucket?
There was no
popcorn bucket. It was chicken tenders.
Who's chicken?
So Biff, go ahead. Biff, talk about Roadhouse.
I'd like to talk about Roadhouse, but none of you have seen it.
Because I like the original.
I've never seen the original, so I can't talk
Texas
about it.
Patrick Swayze and Sam Elliott.
I don't know if any of us plan to go see it. Todd and I are known.
On Prime. It's on Prime.
Todd and I are known non-Jake Gyllenhaal fans. So
All kind of McGregor fans.
I'm a fan of both, and so I'm in the minority.
I remember the original, and it was pretty good, really good movie.
yeah, I like
I never saw the original, so.
I'm torn on seeing the new one because a lot of people that I listen to from other podcasts are saying, or some people are saying pretty good things about it, but the majority are not saying good things about it. So I don't know.
All right, it wasn't the best movie, but it was fun. The fight scenes, like, it had some cheesy lines. McGregor plays basically his persona in UFC, like, on steroids. As
It was a big stretch for him to play a fighter.
like just like a jacked up psychopath and
Jacked up dude.
Like John Cena playing a wrestler.
And you get to see his ass like 5.
Speaking of John Cena, did you see when he went on the was it the Oscars or whatever?
No, I
the
didn't
Grammy?
see.
I didn't notice him there.
Yeah, he
Yeah,
was
he was-
invisible.
He was imaginary.
He was imaginary.
I'm not going to go into it, but I thought it was worth seeing. It's worth seeing. I think you should give it a. I think I give it a
Look,
watch.
I
I
might check it out just because I really liked the first one. But yeah, I mean,
I didn't think it was
never
that
saw the
bad.
first.
I didn't think it was that bad.
McGregor is one of my least favorite UFC fighters. Jake Gyllenhaal, I haven't really been impressed with too many movies he's been in.
He was actually. I thought he was pretty good in this.
How does it compare to a meal at Texas Roadhouse?
A lot more fighting, and
What would be more enjoyable, watching this movie
Texas
or a meal at
Oh.
Texas Roadhouse?
Well, I mean,
well, definitely
I
the
know.
water rolls in Texas Roadhouse.
So Texas Roadhouse, if y'all remember, was my favorite
yeah, what
restaurant.
much to say about that?
Is that your
And,
favorite restaurant? Period.
Period, man.
Really?
You go,
Fucking period.
you go all the way to the wank joint
Travis
there?
and Mike.
Look, I've eaten really good steaks at different places.
Texas
Are you saying that has the
Roadhouse.
best steak?
No, it doesn't have the best steaks. It doesn't, but it has the best rolls.
best and the best.
Bravo.
The both. Oh
Not
God,
like
yes.
Bravo.
God, yes.
Yeah, because like a steak at a steakhouse, you're like, I guess I'll fork out this $60 for this cut of meat.
Dude, we went to Fleming's one time, and it was like,
Fleming's is
golly.
extremely overrated.
It's like we paid like $300 for 2 people, and the food wasn't that great.
Should have
I
just
used
gone to Desi Vega.
I used to
Or
work
North
with the
Metropolitan.
counselor at fucking Grace King that would go eat at, like, that whole little area right there, Fleming's, right before Red Lobster closed, and he would go fucking have like an hour and a half lunch breaks before he came back, shaking his cup.
Why would you want to eat a big ass meal
Wait,
and go
where
back
at?
to work?
Yeah, just to do it, I work with at Grace King.
Unless
One
it's
lasted-
company you
Fleming's
pay for.
one lasted a year, but
I could say I ate
Fleming's, Red Lobster, Peppermill, all those places.
Friday night. We ate at Luke on St. Charles. I think it's a John Besh restaurant.
We went there before, yeah.
And I found that it was just yet another overpriced,
Yeah.
nothing special about the place at all. The gumbo was weird, freaking like.
Yeah. A lot of those places
Yeah.
are like that. The name is like way more popular.
Yeah.
We
Sarah
went
got
to
a steak. It was like $36, and the steak was like this skinny cut of meat. It was like
Dude,
no
we-
bigger than a freaking like 2 hot dogs. But
we went to Austin's
With
I think,
Austin
for
ketchup.
Mother's Day or something like that.
Mhm. Good friend of
And
mine.
Austin's supposedly a really good restaurant,
Austin?
and it was absolutely fucking horrible.
Austin's was bad? I like
Yes.
Austin.
Yes,
I ate there a couple weeks ago.
It was like eating a fucking shoe sole. Like,
the one time. The one time I
what the fuck is this?
I've had better steak at Austin's than Texas Roadhouse. So you can fight me.
No.
We're rubbing the wrong way about.
We actually left. We left Austin, and we were talking about we should have fucking went to Texas Roadhouse. I swear to God.
Which one do you go to on the West Bank? I mean, that's the only one they have.
Yeah.
Yeah. Go on a trip.
Go to Gretna. It's right by my music school.
Go to the way.
The one thing that rubbed me the wrong way about Austin's, we tried to eat there one time, and we didn't have reservations. So we walked in and asked for a table. They looked at us like we were stupid. They're like, "Oh,
there's
we're
like
going to
10
wait like
parking
2 hours."
spots for a 30 person.
That's exactly how the hostess responded.
You did better by saving your money and not going there.
Where?
Austin.
Oh, Austin, yeah.
I like Austin.
I can honestly say that the money that I probably spent at Luke to eat there Friday night, I would have spent that same amount on all the Asian food.
So I'm
last
just going
night.
to
That was
say,
way better.
bring back Crazy Johnny's.
Yeah,
Oh, hell yeah.
Yeah, Crazy John is a good steak for a
I think,
retail price.
aren't they trying to?
I've heard rumors off and on, but I don't know.
That's
if it's
the
official.
rumor.
All right.
Back Crazy Johnny's.
I don't know where they put it if we go back in Fat Shitty.
Yeah, fat shitty ain't the same.
Shitty walk.
They're trying to be hoity-toity. But it's Fat City.
I know it's Fat I'm lying.
They're probably trying to get away from Fat City, like even that term.
Fat Shitty. Yeah. Shitty Walk Chicken.
Mike, I don't know if you listened to this episode, but a couple episodes back we talked about places that we have not, some of us have not been to. Like I've never been to Olive Garden.
Really?
I gave your answer if Mike listened to the episode.
What?
And I think it was Todd that said he had not been to Texas Roadhouse. So we agreed.
You guys when we did the damn restaurant.
We agreed to do a trade-off. I would go to Olive Garden with the guys. If Todd would also go to Texas Roadhouse with the guys.
Olive Garden has gone way downhill.
We also agreed on Juices, though, right?
Yeah.
Yep.
And I made a point.
So, yeah.
I made a point in the episode. I'm like, man, if Mike were here right now, he would slap me in the face because I said that the bread at Texas Roadhouse with the cinnamon butter is absolute dog shit.
Dude, you might want to move. You might want to come sit over here.
It's fighting
Fucking serious? No, you gotta be joking, right?
Dead ass serious. I'll take this preface with this. I don't like cinnamon flavored anything. The butter, G8. Man, I don't like it. It's not for me.
Man.
I think
the bread, the actual roll itself. Forget about whatever dipping sauce you use on it. I get you don't like cinnamon.
if the bread is fresh and soft,
It's always fresh and
no,
soft.
not all the time. I'm not saying it's a fucking log.
Where did you go first of all? Was it the one over here in the West Bank?
No, I've been to 3 of them now. One in Kansas City, the one on the West Bank, and I've been one in
The 4 of us here will
Houston,
just leave
Texas.
the room slowly. Let them duke it out here.
Just don't break into stuff.
Look, this really saddens me that you had a really negative experience here at Texas Roadhouse.
No, only the bread. The steak was fine. I had no issue with that. I'm saying the bread and the butter,
I can literally go over there just for the salad and the bread.
Mike can taste the bread in his mouth.
Like by the time I get to the steak, I'm like so satisfied. I'm like, oh god.
I don't even need a steak. I'm already full.
Steak's just lanyard.
It is lanyard.
Honestly, the last time that I went to Olive Garden, I could have eaten the endless salad and breadsticks, and I didn't even need the shitty tour of Italy because it's going downhill.
Yeah.
The tour of Italy is like
complete shit.
The tour of Italy is more like a tour of like the Vatican. That's how small it is now.
I tried to get Todd to like, hey, how about y'all go and just FaceTime me in and just like put food up to the phone so I can try it without, so I don't have to go. But then when he said he hadn't been to Texas Roadhouse, I'm like, okay, fine. I'll go to Olive Garden now, but you have to go to Texas Roadhouse.
Take one for the team.
And look, Todd nor I have been to Jinduces, so you can throw Jinduces as Texas Roadhouse.
That's 3 of us have not been.
Olive Garden, and we can just kind of move with the other 3.
Jinduces is okay. I mean, it's not no right home, about or anything like
Shut your mouth.
It's not the best.
It's not
It's no Texas Roadhouse.
Impostado sucks, by the way.
I'm kidding. I also love Jinduces.
I don't like how Impostado is just like you can't just order one thing and call it a day. You gotta keep bringing different things out.
This is not a what grinds Todd's gears segment, but impastadas can go fuck itself.
I've never.
Hey, buddy, I like him.
I think they're another overrated, overpriced.
I think they're trash.
Hey, buddy, I like him.
The peppermill was better.
Hey, buddy, I like Sky Mall.
Peppermill. I mean, would you do?
You know what episode?
Do you go to have the bingo hall meetings?
The Rico Bono peppermint.
What's wrong with Bingo Hall?
Hell yeah, man! That place is awesome.
Y'all hit it up after I'll leave a list of Napoleon.
Yeah, that's what we're talking about.
No, I've only been to the peppermill probably twice.
So I went to go play at the Azalea. The bingo.
So
Like I said, it's fucking
This is a bingo.
my old kickball team that I'm taking a break from playing on right now, they went to bingo this past Monday night at the Azalea Hall. Our team name this season is the Azalea Hall Stars.
Oh,
So
wow.
we do a West Bank themed name every season. And yeah, they picked the Azalea Hall Stars this time. They had a great time at bingo apparently.
Nice. But yeah, no, Texas Roadhouse buns is like the best thing.
Not the best month I've had in my life.
One question before we end this: like, do y'all see bingo halls eventually dying out? Because I mean, I feel like
when that generation is gone.
They have a bingo
like it's
palace
only-
in Gretna that is alive and
I feel like
thriving.
it's only
I'll tell you
current
that.
blue hairs that do it. I mean, I don't feel like anybody
How about the Napoleon Room?
middle aged even
Right
like
next to
thinks about
dancing.
bingo.
I don't know.
Or is it just something you gradually gain interest in when you get to your 60s, 70s, and so
So
on?
while we were going through the stuff at Jamie's mom's house, we found.
The little bingo marker? Yeah.
Well, no, not the bingo marker, but there was this little gavel, and we were like, "What the fuck is
Oh,
this
that was
gavel
probably
for?"
that was probably the crab breaker that you and Jamie stole. From
No, it was her granny's bingo gavel.
No.
And when you won bingo, you would take this gavel and fucking knock it on the table. Ding, ding, ding. Bingo! Bingo!
I got a funny bingo story. I was dating a girl when I lived in Algiers Point, and she loved playing bingo, so we went, and I won, and she got pissed at me. And I was like, why'd you get pissed? She's like, I play all the time. I never win. I was like, this is
Beginner's luck.
But
Is that gonna
it's, but it's strictly a game of luck.
Sure.
Just call.
I was like, I just bought a card and marked it. I was like, I didn't do anything.
Are our
It's not
future
like this.
generations going to know what bingo arms are?
It's not like there's any skill in it. You call numbers.
It's like, wow. G7.
Future generations going to know what bingo arms are?
Todd, you were talking about, or you're asking about if anyone our age or younger is like still going to be keeping bingo alive.
The huge flag.
Parlays in Lakeview, they do bingo on every Monday night, free.
And then imagine too many blue
you don't
hairs
pay?
over there. Huh?
No, it's free. And then
You gotta buy the card.
No, I've been. It's all free. You show up. It starts at 8:00, I think. You sit down. They give you a bingo card. There are prizes. Like they give you like little alcohol bottle prizes if you win, or a bar tab or something like that.
Well,
That's
and, smart.
yeah, there's a few blue hair. There's a few blue hairs there,
Okay.
but they also have people our age there as well.
How about we do our next episode at the parlays?
How about we go to a list of Napoleon?
Better idea. How about we just go get drunk up and then go to Azalea Hall bingo?
Hey, let's do it.
If they sell alcohol or allow alcohol to be brought in, I'm in.
I've made it to year 5.
Where the fuck is this?
Our Ladies Council bingo night that I've not attended.
I went there.
You know,
when
I was like, I was going to go.
a young kid. I don't remember.
Year 5.
I don't know.
5 years.
Yeah, this has been year 5 in a row that Ladies Council at, Schmate Schmidtward does a fundraiser bingo night, and I've not made it 5 years in a
Wow,
row.
way to support the ladies.
Hey,
Way to go. Did Valanciunas go?
his kids don't even go there. He lives a block away from the school.
They probably go to
Oh, no, he's
Keto.
Yeah.
He's up in Raleigh, North Carolina.
Oh, yeah.
Andrew Schmuck.
Redacted.
Order.
You need to.
He don't listen to this shit.
Yeah, like he listens.
Like, he even knows it exists.
Next.
What?
No, I think we've exhausted everything I need to talk about.
Everything on the docket.
Before we close out, we haven't done it yet. Biff, what are you drinking?
I stopped at Winn-Dixie and got some Southern Drawl dry hop Pilsner. There was one left, never had it before. Pretty good.
Yeah.
German Pilsner. Not mad at it. And Sean, but yeah, dry hop Pilsner.
I've had the Southern Draw before. It's very good.
Yeah,
Very tasty.
definitely.
Who makes it?
I'm not sure.
Great raft brewing. Out of the Shreveport, Louisiana.
The Shreveport.
The Shreveport, Louisiana.
Sean, what are you drinking?
I'm drinking a lovely wine. I drank a mango passion fruit Celsius because my stomach just needed a break from this friggin' weekend of drinking. Even though earlier I went to the parade with no alcohol on me, acting like I wasn't going to drink, and I still went back to my house and got some Cruzan and Diet Coke.
We saw those text messages about how it was going to be a tame or it wasn't going to be as rowdy as before.
He gave in to peer pressure.
I mean, you can't stand at a parade like that, as crazy as it was, and just with nothing in your hand or an empty can of freaking Mountain Dew Zero that I had. Zero sugar.
Todd?
Well, I started the night with Gnarly Barley House Marg, which is a margarita goza. It's pretty good. It was not quite as good as the Urban Southline Cucumber goza, but it sufficed. Currently, right now, I'm drinking. I have 2 of these still left. As I mentioned, the Tin Roof Quaint Oatmeal Stout with maple and brown sugar. Again, it's from Tin Roof Brewing Baton Rouge. It's kind of bland. It just tastes like a regular stout. Not necessarily. You don't really taste the maple brown sugar.
Travis?
I've got good old fashioned PBR. Nothing too exciting. Just try to take a break from some of the stronger, stoutier beers and just go with a classic. White trash PBR.
From your
Whiskey
homeland.
Tango.
It's actually brewed in.
I'm drinking this real lovely concoction of ice and water.
No, I don't have any fingernails.
It's in this lovely cup that was made by gnomes in the North Pole.
Those are called elves.
I thought they were gnomes. I'm sorry.
Jamie did share with me today. Mike has an obsession with gnomes lately. So.
I do. I do have
They're all in your garden.
this crazy obsession. But no, I'm drinking that high quality H2O.
My glass is currently empty because I just finished my pour of Eagle Rare Bourbon. But yeah, glass is empty. And on that note, Wagons out.
Wagons out.
Wagons out.